Okay, there we go.
All right, sweet. So first question just says, what does it mean to be black in these poems and the short story? What is the black experience here? In what ways does society shape what it means to be black? In what ways do these writers respond to that and make a concept of identity for the speakers? As usual, use quotations, poems with explanations to support your answers. Okay. I guess like
Um,
let's just start from the beginning with there. Like, so what does it mean to be black in these poems?
Okay, well, what I found through them was that, at least in like the first two, Harlem and the one for the English class was kind of like being black is like you're a minority.
See you
That's good.
tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
or possibly tonight, I think.
That's good.
Later.
See you there.
So like being black, you're like a minority and stuff, and then you kind of have to like fight harder for things. And like in the Harlem one, they talk about how like it's all about like the American dream, and it's all like saying that it's like harder to have an American dream when you're black. And then I guess in the short story one, like they end up being like the bullies in the story once you find out that the white girls are like mentally handicapped and stuff. So like I guess it's like a chip off your shoulder. It's kind of what it means to be black in these stories, at least. That's just kind of what I found.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, especially for the Harlem one, I think that's exactly like if you're right on is that like you just have to kind of get like I like how he uses like the like does it dry up like a raisin in the sun is like you have all these dreams but like they're not the same way as like a white person could have or something like that. Like they're like suppressed.
Yeah.
It's like they're more like you're not taught to dream, you're taught to be realistic.
I like that line.
And then during the English thing for English B, I think it's interesting how he like kind of ties it all together. Like he's like I like to work, I like to read, I like to learn, I like to understand stuff, but I'll probably never get to do that because I'm colored. Like simply like this fact will keep everything like you're gonna be biased towards me just because I'm like colored, like everything like that.
Yeah,
So that's kind of interesting.
I like that one.
It was
Like,
interesting. Oh, go ahead.
what were you saying?
I just said it's interesting like how it has like the date at the bottom of that too. It says like 1951. Like all this is like before. You gotta remember this is like before the race riots. This is before everything. Like schools were segregated. Like
Yeah.
you weren't expected to be there.
Yeah, like it was. That's why he was like the only black kid in his class, because like it wasn't normal for them to like not be segregated and stuff. And like he talks about how the only thing he really shares with his professor is that they're both American. Like he says, like a part of me is I'm a part of you, that's American. And despite that having that similarity, like they won't really understand each other because he's black.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think it's interesting because like he kind of ports it out too that like he's like I'm from like the same place as you. Like grew up in the same place, lives in the same place. Like is American like, entitled to those same citizen rights, but simply just because he's like African American, he can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Like despite living the same life and like despite like America being this like supposed melting pot of cultures, he still stands out and isn't treated the same because of his race.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I think that's good. Yeah, I only read part of like the brownies one. My
Yeah.
textbook is like it like doesn't have the full thing,
Yeah.
but
Same.
that's okay.
Yeah, I read some of it and then I read like a summary to kind of like fill in the blanks. But like basically the story goes like they're at like a girls' camp type thing, and there's like an African American group and then like a group of white girls, and like one girl from the brownie group, she like claimed that somebody from the white group said the N-word, and so they're like, oh, we're gonna fight them. And then in the end you realize that the white girls are actually like mentally handicapped and that they were just repeating words. So like they said the N-word but didn't even know what it meant. And it's kind of the whole theme of the story was kind of like human cruelty, like just kind of judging people off the bat without really understanding. So it kind of made like the African girls like the bad people in the story without them really realizing it. And that's
But it also like kind of like paints a picture that like they're like, yeah, they didn't like they like basically went like right off like not even knowing really who these like this white girl is. But it's like assuming that like the fact that these white girls are even saying it, that it's like it means that like they're trying to get under their skin, they're trying to like make them mad, trying to be disrespectful. Like that's just like that's what they're used to, like as African American girls, to like having to like have all these white girls call them that all the time and stuff like that.
Yeah, like obviously if the first thing that they think of is that they were trying to be malicious in it, then obviously they've had experience with that. And so it just kind of shows like how society's been treating them in the end, that they're used to like being treated less. And so their immediate thought is that they were trying to be mean about it. Even if they weren't, they still had experience with it, which is kind of like part of their like type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That says, so yeah, that kind of covers like the next question too, is like what is Black experience here? And it says, in what ways does society shape what it means to be Black? I mean, I think all three of these is like, well, I mean, I guess like both of like the Langston Hughes poems were written in 1951. I'm not sure. So this is in
1951.
1997, I think.
Yeah, I think it was that one.
So it's like a little bit later, but like the poems, it shows like that like you didn't have those same societal rights. You didn't have the same like, especially like, as like an American, like you couldn't like live that American dream. Like you couldn't expect to actually go places or do things. You just kind of had to like accept your reality.
Yeah.
Whereas, and like your reality was classroom with like, that's not what it meant to be Black. Like it was meant to like keep you down, like to keep you from living to your best potential. But
that's really true. Yeah, because they just kind of talk about like that first one, how like all their dreams are just always like postponed because they're just taught that no matter like what they dream, like they're probably not gonna be able to reach it just because they're not white. And that's kind of goes over like what you said earlier with like the English class one. He's like, despite us like growing up in the same places because you're white, and I'm not, the things that I like to do, I probably can't do as much as you can, like just because of his race type of thing.
What are you saying?
I said, does it feel the same?
Oh. But yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely.
Well then I guess like the last question is the identity one. I don't really know. I mean, I guess they all kind of go along with it. Like identity is like he's African American, and then he's also like the racial identity, and then his nationality identity. And even though nationality brings him one place, his race kind of brings him to another.
Yeah, like when I think of this, like this is like more like the concept of identity for these speakers, like is like when I think of that, I think of it like as like who they can be and who they are. So it's not necessarily like the fact like that they're Black or anything. It's that like that they are like their identity is someone who is suppressed, that like can't do like the same things, who has to work twice as hard to get the same results, who like has to worry about being called like the N-word and has to worry about like all these white downgrading them. Like that's their identity, is like their identity to society would be just any other black person, even though there's someone like, especially I think the theme for English B, where it's like totally something special, like he's super smart. If he's going to this school and doing all these things, then he should be like treated better, but he's still, because of his color, like treated differently.
Yeah,
I think that's like where it talks about like identity.
I like that. And especially that one, like even if you think that he'd be treated even better because he's gone through so much, that people would have more respect for him for making it into college at that time, not being white, but still he's like treated differently by his classmates and professor. Just because it was all before like the civil rights and stuff, so everything is just treated unfairly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet. I think we basically like kind of have like said the same thing for most of the questions. An easy paper on all this, just answering the questions and stuff.
Yeah. I think so. I think we had like the same quotes. I feel like the quotes are pretty like standard for them all. Like I had the same raising quote.
Yeah.
Like they're all kind of go along with what we said.
So
that's not too bad.
It sounds good.
Yeah. All right.
Is there anything else that we haven't already talked about?
I don't think so. I hit all of my little bullet point things.
Sounds good. I'll write it up. I'll probably do it like right now.
Okay. Whenever you need. As usual, text if you need help. And then I'll send you the link.
Yeah, will you send me the link? That would be awesome.
Yeah, I got you. I'll send it right after this one.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.